Good day everyone, I am Perines McLean and for today I am going to tackle about the compound interest and the future value. So let's proceed to compound interest. Compound interest is the interest paid on both the principal and the amount of interest accumulated in prior periods. Compound interest, also known as a compounding interest, is the interest on a loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. It will make a sum grow at a faster rate than simple interest, which is calculated only the principal amount. The compound interest is interest calculated on the initial principal, which also includes all the accumulated interest from previous periods on a deposit or loan. Compound interest is calculated by multiplying the initial principal amount by 1 plus the annual interest rate raised to the number of compound periods minus 1. Let's proceed for the example. You invested 10,000 pesos for 3 years at 9% and the proceeds from the investment will be collected at the end of 3 years. Compound interest will be computed as follows. In year 1, the principal amount is 10,000 and the percentage should be converted into a decimal value, which turns out to be 0.09. We have to multiply the principal and interest to get the cumulative interest, which is 900. To get the total, add the principal and the cumulative interest to get the desired amount, in which it is 10,900. In year 2, the principal increases. The total that was used in the principal of the second year was the total of the first year. Same exact procedure until the third year, in which the total will be 12,950,029 centavos. For compound interest, use the formula where FV equals P open parenthesis 1 plus I close parenthesis N. FB for future value, P for principal, I is for interest rate per compound interest period or periodic rate, N for time period or a number of compound interest periods. Next is subtract the principal from the future value to get the compound interest, hence IC equals FB minus P. So let's proceed to the next topic, which is the future value of money. Future value of money is to account for time value for single lump sum payment. We use the same formula provided for under compound interest rates. Future value or FV is a value of a current asset at a future date based on an assumed rate of growth. The future value is important to investors and financial planners, as they use it to estimate how much an investment made today will be worth it in the future. Knowing the future value enables investors to make sound investment decisions based on their anticipated needs. However, external economic factors such as inflation can adversely affect the future value of the asset by eroding its value. The future value calculation allows investors to predict, with varying degrees of accuracy, the amount of profit that can be generated by different investments. The amount of growth generated by holding a given amount in cash will likely be different than if the same amount were invested in stocks. Therefore, the future value equation is used to compare multiple options. Determining the future value of an asset can become complicated, depending on the style of asset. Also, the future value calculation is based on the assumption of a stable growth rate. If money is placed in a savings account with guaranteed interest rate, then the future value is easy to determine accurately. However, investments in the stock market or other securities with more volatile rate of return can present greater difficulty. To understand the core concept, however, simple and compound interest rates are the most straightforward examples of the future value calculation. FV equals PV open parenthesis 1 plus I close parenthesis N, where PV is equals to present value. Open parenthesis 1 plus I close parenthesis N is the future value interest factor or FVIF(N). The future value is the value of the present value after the N time period. Example, using the formula, find the future values of 1,000 pesos compounded at a 10% annual interest at the end of 1 year, 2 years, and 5 years. So for the solution, FV equals PV open parenthesis 1 plus I close parenthesis N, in which PV is equals to P1000, I is equals to 0.10, N is equals to 1 year, 2 years, and 5 years. So let's proceed. In year 1, FV equals 1,000 open parenthesis 1 plus 0, 10 to the exponent of 1 is equals to 1100. In year 2, FB is equals B1000, open parenthesis 1 plus 0, 10 squared is equals to 1210. And lastly, in year 5, FB equals 1000, open parenthesis 1 plus 0, 10 to the fifth is equals to 1,610 pesos and 50 centavos. So another example is this. Determine the compound amount in an investment at the end of 3 years if 20,000 pesos is deposited at a 4% compounded, A. Semi-annually and B. quarterly. So for the solution for the semi-annually is FV equals PV, open parenthesis 1 plus I over 2N. So the given is PV is equals to P 20,000, I is equals to 0.04 over 2, N is equals to 2 times 2 equals to 4. So the solution is FV equals to 20,000, open parenthesis 1 plus 0.04 over 2 to the fourth exponent is equals to 21,648 pesos. So for the quarterly, the solution is FV equals PV, open parenthesis 1 plus 1/4 N. So given is PV equals to P 20,000, I is equals to 0.04 over 4, N is equals to 4 times 2 is equals to 8, and the solution is FV equals to 20,000, open parenthesis 1 plus 0.04 over 4 to the 8th power, which results to 21,658 pesos. So that ends my report. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. Cheers.